This
today.
conference will now be recorded.
Hello, everybody. I'm here today. We've been doing blogs with members of City Council over the last week, and they have ratings through the roof. People really enjoying it, and for good reason. We have 7 elected officials, a mayor, and 6 council members in Westminster, and they establish policy and they make the decisions for our city. I'm Don Tripp. I'm the city manager, and I work for them. I'm going to be conducting kind of an interview format with them today to let them talk a little bit about some areas of interest that we want to inform you during this time we have in our city. COVID-19 is upon us, and I have to tell you that this is an extremely serious matter when it comes to public health. I don't think I have to say that any longer to anybody. Our first responders and our water treatment plant people and the people who take care of our streets, our safety and health people in our city are poised. And I can absolutely guarantee you that we will have a continuation of service in our city. We are prepared and built around the ability to do that. So unfortunately, in times like this, we have to put those kinds of plans into place. And I can assure you that we'll always be there for you. There's a second side to this, and I think the focus today from Lindsey Smith and from John Voelz is going to be a little bit around that second side, and it's the economic long-term viability, the equity, the economic health of our city, and how the city can interact with the business community. So, if I could, I'd like to start and start with Councillor John Voelz, and maybe, John, you can maybe tell a little bit about yourself. You came on council just a year ago, but I want you to talk a little bit about resources we have for businesses in our city.
Absolutely, Don. Thank you. And this is a definitely uncharted territory for us and for those of us working at the city. I first want to thank you and the city staff team for everything you're doing. You guys have been working around the clock. We have people at City Hall, but most people are now working remotely. But I want to thank you for all that you're doing to get the word out, get resources out, and to keep the council informed. So it's been very important, and your work is very important. So thank you for that. I also want to thank our residents. I think Councillor Smith can back me up on this. We've received a lot of emails, a lot of texts, a lot of phone calls with ideas and really good questions, and it's helped us as a city respond to this coronavirus. So thank you to our residents, and also thank you to our businesses, because they are working closely with the city, with their economic development team at the city. I especially want to thank the Westminster Chamber. They're doing a really neat program. It's a Shop Local program, where if you shop locally and you keep your receipt, send that to them, and you could be in a cash winnings of $500. They're going to do a drawing on that. So check out their website, westminsterchamber.biz. They have a lot of great things go on. They have regular video blogs as well with experts in business around our community. So I encourage everyone to check out their website. The Chamber is also hosting a virtual job fair on April 2nd. So that's also important. And like I said, check out their website regularly for important information. The North Metro Chamber Partnership is also a business group that's getting together. They have a Facebook page, so check that out as well. That's Metro North Business Support Group on Facebook. So that's a collaboration of city staff and business leaders around our community who are regularly getting together and trying to find out how we can address this situation. So thank you very much.
That's a great overview of what's happening right here in Westminster. Appreciate that, Councillor Voelz. Councillor Smith, I think you're kind of primed to speak a little bit about some of the state and national resources we have. And whenever you choose to, I know you're aware of some kind of relatively new information that was presented last night in our community as a part of a biz webcast that we did. So Lindsey, if you wouldn't mind, please talk about those state and national resources, and if you'd like to get into some of the other local resources we learned of yesterday.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. But first, I just want to do an echo from Councillor Voelz to say thank you to staff. And this is really, truly a community effort from a staff member who is in an essential role. that is still reporting to work. I have a deep appreciation for everything that we're doing at the staff level at the city, because I truly understand just how hard and how fast and how diligent we are at providing the service as best we can, much to what you were talking about earlier, Don. So just wanted to reiterate that, but also reiterate the appreciation for our Westminster businesses, and share just how much concern and care that we have for all of our businesses and our community members, whether that be businesses or residents. I grew up with parents as small business owners, as some of you might know, so my heart really goes out to our community. There are resources for small businesses that we can all tap into, including the Westminster Business Chamber, as Councillor Voelz had mentioned. But more at the state level, the Office of Economic Development and International Trade is a state organization that offers programs and funding for all kinds of businesses across all industries. And their website is a great place to start for state support and resources. And their website is choosecolorado.com. Next resource that we can tap into is the Small Business Administration. The SBA is the only cabinet level federal agency fully dedicated to small businesses, and they provide counseling and capital. And right now they are offering low interest federal disaster loans using working capital for small businesses and private nonprofits suffering from what's happening in our economy. This program is open to all 64 counties in Colorado, and according to the SBA, they just trying to read off my notes here. The SBA is offering every individual borrower up to $2 million, but the loan amount per individual is really based on working capital needs over a period of about 6 months. And their website is sba.gov/disaster, and that's where you can find an application for this information. And then there's also other resources, SCORE and the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, and they both offer some counseling and educational resources. The National Foundation for Credit Counseling is there to help you evaluate your current situation, and their website is nfcc.org, and their phone number is 800-388-2227. And not to mention, our own website for economic development at the city website has a lot of great information. So not only can we tap into our website and our resources, we could also tap into both chambers, North Metro and Westminster. All are coming together in partnership to really provide a comprehensive list of everything that we can do as a community to really come together to help out not just our community, but our state of Colorado community.
Appreciate that, Lindsey. That's a great summary. I want to spend for just a second, Councillor Voelz, and speak a little bit to the city's efforts related to the entire kind of issue of COVID-19 and what's happening in city government in the way of some specialized programs to address this and what is really part of the normal framework. You wouldn't mind?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Don. Yeah, so as Councillor Smith said earlier, please check our website regularly, Economic Development Square on our website. They have a lot of information. It's updated regularly. As a matter of fact, last night our city hosted, last evening, a business roundtable live stream. Lots of great information there. It's still available, so go back to that website and you can listen to it at any time. So it's on the website, take a look, listen. A lot of great questions were asked, a lot of resources were put forward. So I encourage anyone and everyone to please listen to that website. It's in the City of Westminster. Go to Economic Development and click on the live stream. It was a really good broadcast. I should have mentioned earlier as well, Don, that we also have a resource available to local businesses. The Small Business Development Center, their consultants and staff are also available, and so they will answer questions through Zoom, Skype, regular telephone calls, get in touch with them, Google them, get in touch with that organization. They have consultants available to our businesses to help out. So one other issue I want to mention, Don, is it's called Project Rise, which stands for Reinvestment, Innovation, Strengthening, Empowering Our Community. It's a cross-section of business groups and city staff. It's a very powerful tool for us to figure out what's the best way to address these problems and work together, and we're all in this together. So please take a look at that as well. So thank you very much, and those are some of the things happening locally. And I know we have a lot of residents, a lot of businesses contacting us. Please keep that up. It's helpful. Thank you.
Sorry, I want to just mention that Project Rise again. It's interesting because just recently in the last 6 to 10 months, we've created a kind of a new piece of priority operation within the city organization, and that's in the area of financial sustainability and innovation. And we hired a couple staff people, and then we turned them loose on taking the entire rest of the city staff and giving them some tools and training to think innovatively and how to address big problems. One of the first ones they took on was this program called Rise. And I think initially, just actually a few weeks to a few months ago, they've been in a training mode as to how to deal with big problems. They were just handed a big problem. And so I'm glad to say that we've got some people trained as black belts in Six Sigma, process improvement, using a program comparable to what the city of Denver has used to provide people the background and the ability to take on these kinds of issues. So we're happy with that at this particular point in time. I want to get back to you, Councillor Smith. I had a phone conversation, a video conference with small business today through the Westminster Chamber. And, I have to tell you, it's a little scary. It was a fairly sullen conversation. You could kind of just sense the concern and fear. There were many business operators who run terrific small businesses in our city, and they're worried right now. And I did everything I could to reassure them on your behalf about how committed you are as council to small business. And I know you are particularly, Lindsey, and I just, if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about some of the things that are available to small business. And I think for both of you, just even your personal commitment to small business and how we look at it in terms of the foundation of our city.
Absolutely. Thank you, Don. I've seen a lot of our small businesses on social medias turning out strong marketing campaigns, actually, saying they're open for business. And so I just encourage us all to buy local, shop local, and make sure to share whenever possible, so that people that may not know about those small businesses can be in the know, and offer up a chance for us to all participate in that. But I know both chambers, and specifically Westminster Chamber, has an ongoing list of businesses that are open for business. Some have closed to help with their financial burdens, but some are still open for business. Some actually have condensed hours to help mitigate all of the financial impacts. So there's a great resource at westminsterchamber.biz for not only our businesses to tap into, but for our local residents, or any residents for that matter in any city, to understand what's open and the hours of operation. I know I've been taking full advantage of takeouts, so that's been great. Just plugging in at Cocopelli or Anna's Mexican Grill or GQ or anywhere we can across the city is super helpful. And just even quick shout outs to your friends will help that process too. So I know that the Westminster Business Chamber has a virtual happy hour, and that's for any business, any participant, any chamber member, anyone who would like to join. All you have to do is RSVP on social media or their chamber website, and that is March 31st from 5 to 7. And then both chambers and the city of Westminster are putting out surveys for businesses in particular on how to how to describe the impact that's happening to you. And the city just recently mailed a survey to all Westminster businesses, and it's an opportunity to inform us of upcoming needs and challenges that you're facing, so we can best help your current situation. And then again, the Westminster Economic Development website, there's a lot of great resources on there, and not just for businesses, but there's nonprofits. I was checking it out last night when we were watching the video that Councillor Voelz was talking about. Lots of great information in there, as well as our website. Again, our website is westminstereconomicdevelopment.org. You can also follow us on Twitter using @WestminsterBiz, and then tweeting #WestminsterBiz, and that's BIZ with a Z. And then even though our staff is working remotely, staff is available and would like to help you in any capacity that they can, but just doing an also shout out for the entire council, excuse me, to say that we're here for you. My phone's available, 720-744-2316, and then email, feel free to email us as well, just to be a listening ear or to help provide resources that not have been discussed here. We're happy to help wherever we can, and I'm sure that's resonated across all of council. I see all of our coming together as a team to really collaborate with our staff, with our community, with our residents, to really see how we move forward as one Westie strong to get through this, because we are in this together.
Thanks very much, Lindsey. John, concluding remarks from you?
I would just reiterate what my colleague, Councillor Smith, just said. We're all in this together, all hands on deck. The city has been really committed, whether it's the city council, and we're working very closely as a tight-knit team. It feels really good. We're collaborating very closely, working very closely with our staff. And then businesses. This is an important issue. We have to address this and do everything we can to provide resources. So far, so good. We've all worked really hard. I know it's very early in the process, but again, Don, thank you to you and your staff. And I think I speak on behalf of all of our city council. We appreciate your hard work. And if anyone has questions, I'll say what Councillor Smith said. Email us, call us. We're very anxious to hear, or eager to hear what you have to say, and help us out. Thank you.
I think maybe the final piece of information I want to pass along to business owners in particular. It's got to be a bit confusing for you right now. We initially had a couple of counties that issued stay-in-place orders. The state has now issued a stay-in-place order. Here's what you need to know: is if you have a question as to whether your business can continue to operate, and if they can continue to operate, what those rules and regulations are. That's a state issue. It's not a city issue. The state has issued that order, and they provided some very good information on their website. We have mirrored that on our website, and if we haven't, we're close to putting a letter on which will explain what you should do. It basically says this: the first thing you want to do is read that order yourself. The order is pretty clear. It really does offer a lot of very direct information. You can look at it. The second thing I would tell you is that you may want to consult your own legal counsel to figure out whether or not going into this you can continue to operate. I mean, that's something to consider. Small businesses don't necessarily have access to that, so there are other options too. One of the options is to look at that state website FAQ, which is building by the minute, with questions that are coming in from businesses like you across the state, asking the same question about their business and whether they can be open. That's being answered at a state level. And then finally, submit an FAQ. If it's not clear to you, submit an FAQ and ask them. They have the state of Colorado is there to answer this. It's a public health order. You're going to see it answered by the governor and the public health department. At the end of it, I would tell you that we're committed as a city to support it. None of us are happy to be in this situation in any way, shape, or form. But we've got to beat this thing. It's a very serious matter. We've got more people getting sick every day. Our healthcare professionals are taxed. We've got to find a way to get the tide turned on this. We need to do it together. So please shelter in place, stay separated. And if you're a business owner, what you heard from your two elected officials today, and I will support, is we're going to be there for you. I don't know exactly what form that takes, but I can tell you, stay in business, hang in there. The city will do everything within its power from a policy, from a programmatic. There may be some financial things we attempt to do, have to do, but you are very, very important to us, and we feel like we're in this with you, and we're there to support you. So, Lindsey and John, thanks for expressing that today on the rest of the council, and we'll have you on again here, hopefully with news of progress.
Very good. Thank you, Don.
Thank you. Thank you, Don.